Somebody recently asked me in the comments about where I set the volume controls when using a HX Stomp and a power amp, and it's a really good question, and it's something that I put a lot of thought into, so I decided that it deserved its own short video. So the question came from JNixo9900, and what they specifically asked was, could you discuss volume levels you use when setting up your stomp and using an actual power amp? Some people say they turn the volume on the HX up to full and then set up their presets. This seems a bit odd as it leaves you nowhere to go if it isn't right. Very few channels seem to discuss this. The approach I take and have been taking since the Pod X3 series, so since about 2007, 2008, is to change the output settings so that the output control only controls the headphone outs. Now, the first reason I do this is because I feel that Line 6 have optimised the output level so that it provides a loud and clean signal without any clipping. The second reason I do this is because often I'll send a signal from my stomp to both front of house and to my power amp on stage, and I don't want to risk changing volumes between sound check and the gig by possibly knocking the output control. It's very easily done, especially on dark stages with fast changeovers. And in the same way, this also allows me to run a line out to front of house and to an on-stage FRFR system like the head rush, and just adjust the volume level on the FRFR for stage volume without changing the level of what's being sent to the sound engineer. So this means that I can just adjust the output level on my on-stage power amp to wherever I need it. I'm currently using the orange pedal baby for my power amp. I play in a very loud modern rock band with a very loud drummer, and the volume tends to stay around 10 o'clock and it's got more than enough power. And this will work the same with other power amps, and I'd say maybe 95% of amp heads power sections using the effects return. But there are one or two exceptions to this. I have an EVH 5153, and the placement of the master volume in the signal path is before the effects loop. So this means that the output control has no effect on the volume. In this scenario, the HX Stomp will, or whatever modeler you're using, will control the overall output. So in this case, make sure the output level isn't just adjusting the headphone level. Also, something you might run into when using your amp's effects loop return is that some amps won't allow signal to pass unless a cable is plugged into the input of the amp. A lot of Blackstar amps work like this, so if you've got like a Series 1, for example, make sure that you plug some kind of dummy jack into the input of the amp, like a headphone mini jack to full-size jack, or like a patch cable or something like that. So that just leaves the actual amp model channel volume within the preset, and the way I deal with this is generally leave the amp volume wherever it's set on the stock amp. So this might be subjective because in my case I'm mostly dealing with high gain or very clean amps, so I don't really want much simulation of power amp breakup, but I'd say this is definitely an area to experiment. This is the video that the question came from. It's a breakdown of the live rig that I'm currently using, so please check it out and let me know what you think of my setup.